Welcome back to the Tailosive Tech Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. We're recording this on Halloween. It's not Halloween for you guys, but in case you're wondering why we're not dressed up,
Randy forgot to buy green spray paint. That's the reason why.
I have my costume for the Joker, and all week I've been looking for the green hair spray paint thing, and yeah.
And you didn't want it that hard. Like, you didn't want it that much.
Well, I was looking forward to Joker ranting about 5G.
Yes!
That would have been interesting. I guess the audio listeners don't know, so he's dressed up today, guys. Randy looks great.
If the audio
Amazing
listeners,
cosplay.
well, for the audio people, we can give them still a little bit something. 5G's the biggest joke we've ever had. Yeah.
I've never made a joke worse than 5G.
Even I don't want to mess with 5G.
That's we'll call it the killing joke.
It does give you cancer.
Yeah.
How are you fine gentlemen?
Well,
I've been better.
Good.
I've been walking around.
Good.
I've been walking around the country. I've gone through 5 or 6 different states.
Wow.
Looking for millimeter wave 5G. Still haven't found it yet.
This is the only reason you're on a trip right now.
The only reason why I'm on a trip and recording at an alternate location right now. I've been
Nick
walking around like that Verizon commercial from all those years ago. Service! I need service!
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me now? Good. Good. Well,
You got gigabit now? Got gigabit now?
Nope.
Good.
Nope.
Good.
Nope.
I think
So far, 5G sucks, but, the future or something.
I'm sorry to hear about that, Nicholas. I got really lucky.
Ooh. Have you tried out millimeter wave?
Well, someone hasn't been keeping up with me
Dude, I've been offline
Twitter.
all week, so you also are going to
Man.
have to tell
Okay,
me
well
what's
then,
going on
here.
this week.
I will. Did you see my post, Drew? Not to
No.
put you on the spot. Wow. Okay.
Nobody actually follows you, Randy.
Wow. Wow. Nobody cares. Well, 2 days ago from recording this, okay, jerks, my friends, ladies and gentlemen. All right. On the 28th, so whatever day that was, I ran around San Diego doing some tests and stuff like that. And I'm just showing you guys right here, but I'm gonna read it in. This is on Twitter.
That's it?
That's it. What?
516
millimeter
down?
wave.
That's it?
No. There's no millimeter here. No. But
Okay.
I want to talk about performance though, really quickly with the 5G. At least T-Mobile's.
Oh, I did see your tweet. Now, just remembering. I remember because you were talking about battery life.
I was talking about battery life. Yeah,
That's
I was.
what it was.
Nice save there, Drusiv.
I am a good friend, actually.
Super good.
So
The
I
best, actually.
quite frankly, I'm the best of friends. Some might say the best friend. Okay, folks. See, we can still do this because as of this going posted, one more day before the election, so I can still make great impressions, maybe. I don't know. Okay.
This episode will age wonderfully.
Yes.
I know.
Super
And
well.
then by
usual.
the following week, it's going to be, here's the deal, Spelunky. This is malarkey. Okay, so one thing that I've noticed just overall using the 12 Pro, which I'm expected to have the same issue happen with the 12.
I finally got mine, by the way. in case
Oh,
you didn't
we're going to
know.
ignore that, Drew. Continue, Randy.
No, I don't know. It's not like we were in the stream for the unbox. Anyway, so just for comparison's sake of the whole thing, I ran a Wi-Fi test just to see how the performance is, and I do get half a gig down off of Wi-Fi in my office, and so it came out as it should, which is normally it says I get like 30 up. I got 36. I'm like, all right, so about 30 and half a gig down. Yeah. But then I go off of Wi-Fi before I even go to the streets. I actually need to tell you guys something, a little bit more context. I have a signal booster in my house with T-Mobile, and the signal booster is because where I live, I'm kind of like in the slope of a hill, so I don't get the strongest carrier signal at all, and it's not just T-Mobile, it's most of the carriers just in my little pocket right here. So yeah. I got a signal booster, and the signal booster will give me the full full bars of LTE, but it is 4G LTE. So there's no way I'm ever going to get 5G in my house. It's just it won't happen because the signal booster is only for 4G LTE. So I got off of the Wi-Fi and it automatically connects me to LTE. I ran the speed test for LTE and I got 13 down, 1.4 up. Now, normally it's not that bad, but that's not the worst. Like on average, I maybe get about 20, but 13 is like that sounds about right at the time of day when I did it.
That's pretty bad for where I am.
Yeah, it's I'm not there's no kudos being thrown at it. I'm just saying that it's livable, and I'm like, it is what it is. The moment I leave my community and I walk out to the street, that's when
where do you live again? What's your address?
Yeah, that's 123. Go F yourself.
Whoa, Randy, family friendly much?
I said F. Bleep. It is 123. Go bleep yourself. All right. But I walk out to the street and immediately I connect to 5G because now I'm away from the signal and this part
you can see the tower.
Yeah.
There's no tower.
Line of sight. You gotta line up the little window on this side. Just kinda like,
it's not that
sure
tight.
the antenna's pointing at it. It's like a laser. Yeah.
So when I connected, I immediately ran another speed test and I went from 13.
Sorry, I'm having trouble hearing you.
I don't care. I'm having trouble understanding why you care. NSA's listening, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so I went from 13.1 to 71.24.
Nice.
Now, 71.24 feels like what the speed should be for LTE.
Yep.
Maybe not the 24
I got
part.
faster than that on my LTE.
Yeah, I get way faster.
And that's with Mint Mobile. Now, when I got off of it, though, what's even more interesting after all that, and I got off of 5G because I'm like, all right, now let's see what it is on LTE because Nick ran the same test, and we had some people calling him a liar.
Yeah.
So I was curious. I was like, all right, let me run the test. So I jump off and I run the speed test, and immediately running the speed test again on LTE, I went 50 down, 50 up.
Okay.
And I was like, that's weird.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know the specifics as to why it's feeding that, but the only part that I want to make note is immediately getting off of 5G, my phone got so hot, and the battery, I was watching it just deplete, but my phone had got so hot that I intentionally, since then, I did it a few more times, not running speed tests, but just have it connected to 5G just to see if that was a common denominator, and it was. The phone heats up ridiculously just because it's on 5G. It's trying to decide which one to use, and this back and forth behind the scenes causes it to really overheat. And every time I touch it, I'll give it to a friend or my wife or anybody, hey, feel this, and they're like, that's uncomfortably hot. So I turned off 5G, and now it's behaving like a normal phone. Problem solved. So that's been my experience.
Did it get so hot that
it
it turned silver?
Ooh.
It melted the thing.
Put gold off.
You know, honestly, from a distance, it does not look all that gold. I can understand it's gold by looking at the frame. The fingerprints and stuff, it's just...
On FaceTime right now, it looks totally silver.
Very much like mine.
Exactly. Yeah, I looked at
and
Nick and I go, hey, Nick's got the gold. Or do I have the silver?
I gotta text you a screenshot of it later. Yeah, just hold it there for a second. Like, I legitimately thought you changed phone color.
I know, it's a muted gold, just like everything else. It's not really product red, it's product pink.
Product pink.
Yeah.
That's what red has become.
Wow.
Ooh.
Whoa, that's uncomfortably white. Wait.
Randy.
Some might describe our podcast as uncomfortable.
Guys, I don't want to draw an alarm, but this has become very uncomfortably white.
Well, at least we're aware of said fact.
Wow,
Yes.
That's actually pretty... That's bad. Yeah, I did not switch it. That's just... Maybe it's the lighting? Maybe I should change my background lighting? I don't know. So, yeah, that's my experience with 5G.
So
I also... go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, we know nobody cares about my thoughts. Everyone cares about yours, so go ahead.
That's true. I turned off 5G and noticed. Sorry, I'm just joking. I turned off 5G and got faster speeds, just like
Nice.
Sam on Verizon. And they weren't drastically different. I would say there was about 5 to 10 megabits between the two. But I still think it's the dumbest thing in the world that you can receive better performance by turning off the feature everyone is telling you is there to get you faster speeds. I don't care if where you live it's faster. My point is, if it's not faster for everyone everywhere, then they need to stop marketing it like it's,
The second coming.
the second coming. That's what they treat it as
5G,
right now.
5G, 5G, 5G.
The more I think about it, the
5G.
more I realize it's the most perfectly. That's not a word.
That's not a word.
Perfectly.
Let's make it a word.
Okay, it was the most profitably marketed thing ever because
Quite frankly,
obviously
perfectly.
millimeter wave, they barely have to work on giving it an infrastructure,
Yeah.
right? Because they put up a few towers that have very little traffic because barely anyone can connect to it.
Yeah.
And then they get Chris Rock for the commercial to say, look how fast everything can download.
This is 5G.
You can market it like crazy and say, hey, look, you can get up to 4 gigabits or whatever per second in
Asterisk
ideal conditions.
in ideal conditions, yes.
Which is never. I've not seen one person come anywhere close to where Apple said, or Verizon said. I don't know.
However,
who said
Mint
it. It
Mobile
was all at
explained
Apple's
of 5G was like, that's it. That's
That
it.
was my favorite 5G commercial Ryan Reynolds did.
No,
He
not
was
the
like-
commercial. The website where they were talking about
The website was funny, but I laughed harder at the Ryan Reynolds thing.
because
was
he
just
said like, oh, nobody knows what it is.
we brought in our chief of technologies to tell us what 5G is, and he's like, basically, it's a little better than 4G. And Ryan was like, so we may never know what 5G really is. So we're just going to keep giving it away for free. And I was like, all right. I like how he acknowledges like no one really knows what any of this crap is, so
Yeah.
take it, enjoy. But yeah, so I'm still getting faster speeds on LTE, but I'm at home most of the time anyway, so I'm typically not using cellular in the first place.
So
That's a very
through
interesting
my
thought,
cross-country travels in search of true millimeter wave, ultra-fast gigabit 5G, not LTE, I've run a series of speed tests all across the country with both of these devices. And 5G is not impressive. I'm gonna totally go off on a limb here and say that no one here on the
Hot
podcast
take.
agrees with me. I know, hot take. 5G is not as impressive as I thought. An example, exact same location. I got on the 12. I got to 46.1 megabits down and 21 up, and then I switched it over to 5G. And for all you Twitter people who think I was lying about that screenshot last week, you actually have
Only
to
one
force
person
quit.
thought.
Only one person. Anyway, it was enough to me feel insecure about myself. You actually got to like fully force quit the Ookla speed test app between switching 4G and LTE and the 5G and 4G in the settings. Otherwise, Ookla will run it at the last setting. And so, anyway, that's why I was getting better speeds before. But after
Ookla is
doing
the
that,
real winner here. They're
Yes.
getting more downloads than anybody right now.
their ad revenue must be
Those ads must be popping.
Anyway, I got 46 down, 21 up, and then on 5G, I got 90 down and only 3 up. And I was like, 9 times out of 10, I care more about my upload speeds than my download speeds.
I do, yeah. I care more about
Just
upload,
in general,
to be
because
honest.
download, you can get by with, 5 down in a pinch, but upload at 5, anyway. So, yes, technically faster in some areas, but most areas, it's like, okay, faster download, slower upload. I mean, I'd rather just have more consistent 4G everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would take 50 down, 50 up over 100 down, 2 up.
But I am still
every
on
day.
my epic quest to find the 1 millimeter wave tower in the entire world and line my phone up with it and get it. But if it's raining that day, we'll just have to.
They built like one in New York City, and they were like, "There, millimeter wave, it's here."
nationwide.
It's like outside their headquarters.
So maybe
Nationwide is
if
on
I
your
do find one of those towers, I'll definitely be doing the side by side speed test with the Ookla thing. But until then, it's
I
not
think
worth
it's
it.
safe to say no, like Okay, first of all, the only people doing the millimeter wave stuff are like YouTubers and
Yeah.
people
And
in
me.
the tech community that are trying to show how fast it is. I don't think there's anyone who has just genuinely been using their phone regularly and then happened to use gigabit speeds because they were in the right area with the right phone with the right example of I need to
They
download
were like,
a movie real quick.
I'm at an airport. I have to download this 10
Yeah.
gigabyte movie before my flight's leaving. And, oh, I have
Right.
millimeter wave. Perfect.
I'm trying to think of the number of times that's actually been genuinely used and appreciated, and I'm like, it must be close to never.
And a lot of
Like
those
the number
servers
of
that you're
times.
downloading content from don't even support that fast of download speeds. Like
That too.
iTunes, I've been connected to like Wi-Fi systems that are of the gigabit class, where you run an Ookla and you're getting over 1,000 down. But you go to download an iTunes movie, and it's like 5 minutes remaining, 4 minutes remaining,
it's
and you're just like,
Getting it from some server that's not near you.
exactly. And it's not fast. That server isn't fast enough to spit out a gigabit a second worth of data. And so, anyway,
I'm more
5G is
excited
pointless,
for
folks.
Starlink.
Yes, Starlink. Woo! I am
Were you disappointed by the prices on Starlink?
No, actually, optimistically, I was thinking it would be like $80 a month. Pessimistically, I was saying if it was under $300 a month, I'd still be happy. So they came in way underneath that. We're at $100 a month for Starlink, and I could not be more excited.
Yeah, me too. I want to try it.
I keep
really
putting
do.
my zip code in their website. Like every 10 seconds, I'm sitting over there with my 5G connection, sticking my zip in there, and no one
I
has
just think it's cool.
sent me anything from anyone about getting.
I can't wait to send SpaceX $100 a month.
I know.
That's just I want to see that on my bill. You know,
I mean, come on.
$99.
We
SpaceX.
need to spend SpaceX as much money as possible to get
I know.
humans to Mars.
Which means that when they do get humans on Mars, I will be partially responsible.
you will be. You'll be mostly responsible.
That's how that works, I think.
Yep. If you pay them $100 a month, it's mostly your prerogative.
Get to Mars, GoFundMe.
Elon should do that.
Yeah.
Actually, I should do that so I can afford one of these tickets.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people I felt like that were missing the point because I came forward with the price and the speed, and everyone's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you get faster than that." And I'm like, "Well, you're not getting it. It's not the point. The
You're
point is,
Starlinking wrong.
yeah, you're Starlinking wrong. The point is, there's all these people who don't have it or don't have good internet, and that's who it's for. It's not meant to be, fiber optic replacement. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Some people are. It'd be like, I'm trying to think of a good example, but the price doesn't help. But I'm like, it'd be like the iPhone SE coming out, and people be like, "Well, that doesn't have Face ID. Why is this any good?" It's like, it's not for that
It doesn't have
market.
5G.
That doesn't have 5G. Yeah, who cares? Anyway, I think that's exciting stuff. So
Very.
I'll
Hey,
as soon
so-
as I get that email.
Drew, tell me about this iPhone that you got after we recorded our show.
As the last person to get the 12 Pro, I
the
was
entire
probably
world, literally the last person ever to purchase this device.
that was me. It's the first iPhone I cannot recommend to anyone.
Yep. There you go.
That's where I stand on it. With all previous iPhones, there has been some market, some personality that I could see. Oh, the 5C is good for this type of person. The 5S good for this type of person, or the 10R is great for this type of person, or the SE first or second gen perfect for this demographic. I do not see the demographic for this, other than just people who are in love with steel for some reason and need steel better than anything. But
Hey.
functionality wise, I don't see anything here that it warrants the extra cost compared to the 12. It's not a bad phone. It's just the 12 is so dang similar. Marquez in his review said, like, "Are you sure about that? Just be absolutely sure." I'm not going that far. I'm putting my foot down. I'm saying no. Don't get it. It's not worth it. For one, the steel doesn't look that good. It looks great on the website. In person, super duper fingerprinty. Super duper oily. Well, at least with Pacific Blue. I don't know what it is for the other colors, but for me,
about the
it does
same.
not age very well. 80% people wear cases on their phones anyway, especially if you plan on getting a MagSafe supported case. You're not going to even see the side of the phone, or the back, rather. And the telephoto lens, in a lot of situations, does not even get utilized because of the lighting conditions you're in. It'll just digital zoom in on the main lens, which has gotten better, whereas the telephoto lens is the same old, same old. They didn't really do much with it compared to previous years, and a lot of the time they just don't even activate it, even though it still has a little 2x button. I will reserve judgment for the 12 Pro Max camera, but this...
It's not looking too good.
I'm sorry. Telephoto, a few extra gigs of RAM. In battery tests, I've seen the 12 Pro perform worse than the 12. So LiDAR's a joke. Seriously. Like, Randy was sending me pictures after last week's podcast of night mode portrait photography.
That was pretty terrible.
And people forget, like, with all this hype about night mode, a lot of the time people forget that the flash is a thing.
Yeah.
And if you're taking a portrait mode shot, you have to be a pretty decent, pretty close to the camera in the first place to where flash can be utilized anyway. And I'll bring it up in my review, but currently I'm doing a lot of side-by-side pictures of here's what the picture looks like with night mode, here's what it looks like with the flash. Most of the time, the flash does wash out colors a little bit, but I've found that you can still get a lot more detail and then just boosts the saturation after the fact, whereas night mode, you lose a ton of sharpness. It looks very blurry, and it's not a good reason to go with the Pro. First of all, LiDAR with the AR stuff, it's not like non-LiDAR devices can't do augmented reality. Like, they still can. It's just slightly worse. It just takes a little bit longer for it to work.
But does it tell you exactly how tall you are?
No, but that isn't very accurate either. I can confirm. I tried that measure thing with the height. It was fun, but it's not. I still would not, even with LiDAR, I would not trust the Measure app for anything you're doing for work. If you're measuring things to cut or you're measuring a room layout, it's not accurate. It's very spotty. It's cool for commercials and cool to show your friends and stuff. Hey, look what my phone does. But if you were actually measuring stuff, it's terrible. So LiDAR doesn't change that.
So you're saying LiDAR doesn't change anything. Steel is bad.
It's not comfortable in the hands.
Oh, Randy's
well, that's
going
a common
with this point. Okay, all right.
That's across the 12 lineup. I think that's more to do with the shape.
I would say this is the first phone where it makes me genuinely want to go back to this, and I use this more. My SIM is currently in the 12 Pro, and every time I do it, I just kind of grind my teeth a little bit. The only reason is that the 11 Pro in particular is the best made version of this design, and I personally look at the stainless steel and I go, I can't really see my fingerprints still, and obviously with the frosted back, it's like it's even that, like, I don't see anything at all. That's an issue. The only way I would recommend the 12 series, I will not recommend the 12 Pro. I'm ready to return this now. I'm gonna get my shots in and get the B-roll for it and stuff like that, and then I'm gonna box it up and that's that.
Really?
I do not like this phone at all. Not in the sense
my
that
11 feels really, really comfortable in the hand every time I pick it up. I'm like, ooh.
It hurts the battery
softer.
with the whole 5G thing. It hurts the battery. LiDAR. And bear in mind also, to give more context about sending the photo of night mode portrait and stuff like that, I believe I sent you guys the polished version. It's not that.
That was polished.
Right? So, and I'm doing rudimentary color correction and stuff on it, just enough to be like, let's see if I can bring it out. I understand what their intent is with the camera going forward with it, but I will say that for it being a first year product of it, I can't recommend it. It's too crappy of a process of the whole thing.
Wow.
It's not in a situation where you want to get a nighttime photo in. I can, as Drew was saying, like, you're better off using flash, and you probably get more of the subjects.
It's much more
illuminated.
detailed when you get a flash photo.
If I'm
versus
taking a
the
photo
night
at
mode.
night and there's a subject about it, you're not really in that moment really caring about the background unless like Christmas trees or things are illuminating. But you don't
For
need
the
not.
portrait mode stuff. Yeah.
But for the portrait, like it's just everything about it is just not. It's not for me. And the lidar is not anything. I would only recommend the 12 if you're going. And this is remain to be seen if you're going to get the 12 mini or the 12 Pro Max. Maybe if you really need the best of the best of that year, maybe. But even then, when I think about it and I think about the price, me purposely penny pitching everywhere that I can. I don't think the 12 Pro Max, or the 12 mini will offer anything of substantial, return on anything, as opposed to just staying with the 11 Pro. And I am talking specifically with the 11 Pro or Pro Max. That is not worth waiting until next September. As we keep getting closer and closer, and the time just kind of pinches down more between the next series of the phone, the 12 feels not so much incomplete than it is. They focused on the wrong thing, in my opinion, this year with 5G and magnets and stuff like that. All fine stuff that I get if you want to move forward, but if you care about, people care about screen real estate. You got it with the 12, or you get it with the 11 Pro. They care about the camera sensors. The 11 Pro is phenomenal. They care about battery life. 11 Pro is better in performance. I don't see a scenario where 12 Pro comes out on top unless you're being very niche specific with, I need to have Dolby Atmos, whatever, okay, or I need to have the greatest A14 Bionic. Okay, I mean, these needs, I'm understanding this year for the first time, none of these are needs. They're not necessity. They are not deal breakers. If I wasn't so obsessed with the smaller design, I'm fine with staying with the 11 Pro for another year. And maybe there's a part of me that when I get my hands on the mini in a couple weeks, maybe that will be my vibe still. That's like, this is great. I still think the 11 Pro is a better buy. Wow. And that's why it's been removed off the website, because I think Apple knows it. And I mean, it is what it is, but out of the whole 4 phones, what I can say unequivocally, and I will stand by it for the rest of its life cycle, is the 12 Pro is not the buy.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I think it's a difficult line, because I would say anyone who has an 11 series does not need to upgrade this year at all. But I would say that every year, because if you ever try to do year-over-year upgrades, you're always going to get small updates, unless you're just part of that tech community that has to have the latest iPhone every year. I get that, but then you don't need our advice if you're in that boat. But
absolutely, yeah.
If I would draw the line and say, if you do care about cameras and low light stuff, if you're on the 10, 10R, or 10S Max, then I would recommend, I think that's a big upgrade in the camera department, going from the 10 and 10S series or the 10R series going straight to the 12. I think you'll appreciate, if you're on a 10R, you'll appreciate the OLED, you'll appreciate the night mode and the ultra wide. And talking about the regular 12 here, I think that's a worthy upgrade. 12 Pro, no one. But if you're not a big fan of the cameras, I would say don't feel the need to upgrade unless you're on an iPhone with a home button, and you want a newer design, I guess. Because if you're on an 8 or a 7 and you were waiting to upgrade, I would say this is a decent year to do so, because next year's probably not going to be that different of a design change. So you're going to have the new look, the new design. It's probably going to be a lot of internal changes next year. And if you have a phone with Face ID and gesture control and you don't care about camera performance, no, there's no real rush to upgrade to this, in my opinion. I don't think, because it's not. There was a lot of changes, but at the same time, there are not a lot of features, because you get the phone and you set it up and you start using it, and I very quickly realized, okay, it's just my iPhone again. I don't even. There's not a whole lot of new stuff to try out. You can kind of summarize all the new features within 5 minutes, and you're complete. So if you're thinking about upgrading but not sure, I would say, if you do care about camera performance, and you're rocking a 10 from 2017 or a 10s or 10R in 2018, this would be a decent camera year to upgrade to. But if you don't care about cameras and you have Face ID and gesture control, don't feel the need. You can wait.
Well, that's very fair. I am tempted. I
You're
need some
tempted
help,
to keep
guys.
the 12 Pro?
Yes, sir. Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned.
The one we both didn't recommend anyone to get.
Exactly. So, and really,
There's this meme I saw where it goes, "I'm sorry, Daddy, I've been a bad girl. For the last time, it's forgive me, Father, for I have sinned."
That is terrible.
That is terrible.
That is beyond terrible, Randy. Well, so I need a new phone, right? Like, okay, iPhone 10, it's doing fine. It's not going to last me another year. I know that.
You need an 11 Pro.
Accepted this. Okay, yes, maybe an 11 Pro, but okay, this stainless steel. The thing is, okay, I need to upgrade, right? Like, this thing's battery life's going down the tubes. I'm looking at these two phones. Obviously, if I were to get the regular 12, I'd want the mini, and if I got the Pro, I would want the just regular Pro. I don't need the Pro Max huge display. But feeling these two devices in hand, the Pro just feels so much more luxurious and a little bit less hollow. Like, it just feels more solid in my hand. So I am really tempted to keep the 12 Pro and just replace the little old iPhone 10. But then again, I don't need it because my iPhone 10 is working and there's not a ton of justification beyond, stainless steel. And that's not the best way to spend your money. So I'm
Not
very
that
Luxury
price.
feel
but at the end
will
of the day,
not stick.
I
The
understand.
luxury
It's already
feel
scratched.
is very...
I haven't. I've been carrying this around as it's been my daily. I tried. I used the 12 for a whole day with my sim in it, and then I switched to the 12 Pro as my daily. And yeah, there are definitely extremely noticeable stainless steel scratches. I mean, nothing like show stopping, but like when you wipe the fingerprints off, you can see all of the scratches. So,
Dude.
yeah,
Well, that's not good.
I know. Also, I don't know.
I think it's pretty obvious.
So hard.
They wanted to do 120 hertz on the Pros this year. I think it makes a lot more sense in hindsight that they would make two phones so similar if one of them had some more of a tech specky feature like that.
Yeah.
Maybe would have separated the two a bit more noticeably. As something that, pro people might notice this, but non-average consumers, they wouldn't care. But they obviously couldn't get that to work. And they just decided, okay, well, I guess we're sticking with 60 hertz. And I think that's what made this year so weird. I've never seen Apple make two phones so similar.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
It's sad.
I will say, though, having the telephoto is pretty nice. There were a couple times I've taken both devices out on my cross-country road trip in search of the 5G tower. I've been taking a few pictures, and there have been a few times where I'm either walking somewhere or I'm trying to take two pictures at once to compare the two cameras, and I really miss the 2x telephoto. Like, that is a big loss going with the 12. That's my favorite lens on any of these iPhone cameras, is being able to punch in twice. And I understand it doesn't always use the 2x telephoto lens. Sometimes it uses the wide angle and just digital zooms in. But just having that little button to click 2x and have it just pop in real quick is very nice. And
Imagine if it was 2.5.
what if the phone was too big to fit in my small little tiny hands?
That's true. You do have very small hands.
Yes, famously small.
I feel like besides,
as I drink my small water.
I think besides comparing shots, I don't find it to be a big loss, in my opinion. only because the context matters, and what you're doing is you're doing side-by-side comparisons. Real life usage, you're not going, not you specifically, but your brain does not think about in the moments like I need to punch in. If you're setting up a shot, if you go that far where the pre-production involves setting up the shot,
composer,
chances are you are either using a mirrorless or DSLR. I think most people manipulate the environment to fit the camera at the end of the day. And I remember when I was rocking, I went from 10 to 8 for that little period of time.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
And I purposely adjusted all my shots to meet my 8's requirements, and they turned out just fine. And I never found myself missing telephoto. It was nice to have it there, but the idea of it being deal breaker, I feel, is what happened with me was I was misleading my brain to thinking like I was losing something. And I know just out of my own experience that when it comes to photography or videography, and you want to utilize all the lenses you have accessible to you, most times than not, you will find a way to make it work with the lens that you're working with. And best example, Nick, is when me and Jordan were taking headshots and playing around with the cameras, and he did not have a telephoto, and only when he did it side by side with yours, mine, and his, because Jordan has the 11, not the 11 Pro. Only when he did side by side, he goes, "Man, that's cool. I kind of wish I had that." He goes, but looking at his catalog, he goes, "But I made these work just fine." And no one's gonna go on his like Instagram and be like, "Oh, you know what? It made that shot better if you had that telephoto." You find a way to make it kind of work. And I feel selfishly, I feel like it's a cool experiment to put that challenge upon my foot to say, make this work with the iPhone 12 mini, and let's see how creative you can be, restricting yourself with one less lens. That's really not so much of it as a deal breaker, especially since, like, we've talked about episodes ago that I'm going to use this camera for anything that has to be true production, like media and stuff like that, say B-roll, say Tesla stuff, anything like that. The phone is meant to be the handy in the moment, guerrilla warfare, really quick, and you're in and out, as opposed to like if you're going to set up a shot and there's more thought that's going into it, you're going to have your lights, you're going to have your mic, you're going to have your cameras. Everything's going to be set up the same way we set up our podcasts to look this way while Nick is improvising at a new location. There's more thought that goes into it.
I brought a whole suitcase worth of junk, Randy. There was no improvisation here.
I really like your setup. I'm digging the ceiling. I don't know if it's going to come out in the final shot, but on the
ceiling's
iPad.
not going to be in the final shot.
I like it, though.
A very beautiful pink background.
You look very symmetrical with the whole thing. So, but anyway, all that to say that, like, I'm willing to forego. Yay! Oh, did we lose? Oh, hey, there he is. Oh, are we doing one of these again?
I think we're doing one of these. Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay,
I can hear you.
Hi.
The internet connection here in this bunker is.
I wish I was joking right now, because then I'd be like, "Hi." So,
see,
yeah.
The reason why I'm in this bunker is because you guys are listening to this on Monday, which means the election is tomorrow. So I'm just getting ready, folks.
And everyone loses their minds. Yeah.
It's underground.
So yeah. Anyway, all that to say
Randy,
that, like, when it comes to the camera, go ahead.
Kicking back off that 2x telephoto thing. Yesterday I went to a little town, and where actually I went ziplining before, and so I didn't really have my DSLR on me. I just was gonna bring my phones. Obviously not minimal.
Look at me. My name's Nick. I'm gonna go ziplining. Found a way to sneak that in the podcast, didn't you? Yeah, I was just out ziplining.
Okay, I went there. I went into the ziplining place with white pants. I came out with white pants and brown spots. So I'm not saying that this is a really big.
Yeah. Nick went dookie. These were white when I bought them.
Anyway, oh my god!
Thank God we got HDR.
Yes, thank you.
You can really see the brown.
We can get the brown.
Was it Deadpool goes, "That guy has the right idea."
Anyway, so we went to this nice little town that was really photogenic, and I was taking quite a few pictures that will end up on my Instagram at some point, I'm sure. And I didn't have my real camera with me, and it was a legit experience where I was like, okay, I need to make beautiful pictures because I'm seeing all this beautiful scenery, and I got to capture it as the photographer inside me. I'm like, ooh. It's golden hour. We got beautiful little mountain community, and I got to take pictures. And and so I'm sitting there taking picture. And most of the pictures I took, I was reviewing them this morning. Most of the pictures I took were with the 2x camera. So I use that a lot in my photography style, and other people don't. And that's why 9 times out of 10, the lens I'm using to record this one, 9 times out of 10 when I'm using my Sony, it's with a 55mm prime lens because I don't really care about wide angle or super telephoto. It's
Super
that's my style.
telephoto. Super that and
Needs to be the 4th camera next year.
Like how 2.5 is super.
Espionocious.
2.5.
I'm excited to try
65
it.
mils?
Huh?
Yeah, I think it's 60 something.
65.
65
Yeah.
sounds
The current one's
right.
like 57 or something.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Just
so that's just my style though.
bit
Like,
more.
I totally get it, Randy. Wide angle's fun, but
It's okay to be wrong, Nick.
while wide angle is fun, we believe that telephoto is more important.
Nick believes telephoto is more important. You need to get the Pixel 4. That's what this all comes back
You know
to.
what? Also, I can wave my hand in front of my phone in the morning and wake it up.
That's how I use my phone. Yeah. Just wave it.
So Nick, on
sir.
these things, on these situations where you're out and about, telephoto and all that stuff, how often? And I'm not baiting you. I'm not setting you up to trick you. This is a real question. How often do you find yourself in a situation where you're going to be on travel and you're going to be in those types of environments?
0 out of 10 times.
Oh, well then get the iPhone 12 mini. Randy 1, Nick 0.
I was gonna say
No, yeah, I don't.
if it's 0,
With COVID and whatnot, I haven't been traveling a ton. This is what the second trip that I've made since the lockdowns, and so it's all in search of this millimeter 5G tower. So that's really the purpose of this trip.
still looking.
I
Still
still haven't
looking.
found it. Still waiting for it.
I think
So, yeah, I understand that needing a 2x telephoto is not a necessity or wanting it, but it's still something that
it's not about a necessity, and I would argue nothing is a necessity when it comes to these phones. But I understand the idea of wanting to have it. My other thought process for you, thinking outside of cameras, is that you still have your 10s and
10.
worse. Oh, 10. Oh, whatever. You got a camera on you that has telephoto, and as likewise, I'm not selling the 11 Pro for those types of situations. How can I allocate my money to be put to better use? And when I think of $200 to $400 cost difference, I cannot justify just for having a stainless steel frame and having LiDAR and telephoto when I know
that LiDAR
darn
sensor though. That LiDAR sensor sold me. The moment I unboxed it, I was like,
yeah, I know darn well I want to
LiDAR.
get a Mac, and I'm trying to set my desk up or my office up for future success where my next chapter in life is taking me, and I am putting every dollar to the appropriate usage. And that's another reason why I'm like, in my situation, I'm like, I don't even think I could see myself returning the 12 mini if I end up finding better value out of the 12 still. I feel like what we're kind of all leaning towards, and not necessarily, except for you, Nick. I know you said 12 Pro over 12 Pro Max, but most people, it's either the 12 Mini or the 12 Pro Max as the outlier. It's like
I've seen that a
one
lot.
of these. And when you look at the cost difference, and I'm putting myself in that situation where it's either this one or that one, I can't justify those costs these years. There is no 120 refresh rate. There's all these things that kind of felt like it fell short. If this
The
is
12 is too good.
if you have to get a phone this year, this is the year where the regular 12 blows everything else out of the water, and the real debate will be which one's going to be better, 12 or 12 mini as the best seller. I think the pros just They dropped it just so they can keep continuity with the naming and stuff like that, but they could have done without having pros this year and been just fine if they wanted to just wait
Probably.
and get the higher refresh rate, get the better everything else for next year. I'd rather they have waited. And I think we even said this about a month ago or so. Like, what would we rather have? I would rather Apple waits and release something when it's ready than just some arbitrary, it's that time of the year and here's the pros again. And guess what? 5G, and that's it. I would have rather waited personally.
For stockholder reasons, they probably had to release something for the pros.
Well, if you the stock ain't doing that well right now.
No, I know, but I'm still saying it wouldn't have been much better if they just decided not to do a Pro or Pro Max at all and just did the 12 and 12 mini. There would have been but even more riots in more not that there aren't any now, but just more than
La Mesa
otherwise.
2.0 and just everything.
It's
That would have been bad.
La Mesa.
I'm saying I think people would have been more upset by what you pitched, though I understand why you say that. But Apple has to acknowledge that not everyone is on the 11 Pro or 11 Pro Max, and there are people upgrading from several years back. And also, the pros do a very good job at selling the regulars. They do a good job at making you think, look how expensive and look how high quality these iPhones are, but also you can get so much of what the pros had to offer on these cheaper models. So they kind of push, they kind of push the 12 and 12 mini a bit by just showcasing what am I losing out on. And for Nick's decision, he has to decide how much dollar value he wants to put on a telephoto lens.
How much
save
telephoto and stainless steel. The only reasons why I like this phone over the other one.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And
is
those two reasons are not worth
a
$300 and something difference between the 12 mini and the 12 Pro.
Yeah.
And
if you get the 128 gig, it might be.
I would get the
200,
128 gig 12 mini. That's probably the one reason why this is slightly more justifiable in my mind. The 12 Pro is because its base is 128, and that's the size that I wanted anyway. And it's like, okay, this is $1,000. That's expensive.
Don't fall for the trap, Nick.
It's about a $200 gap between the mini and that.
They're baiting you. Don't fall for it, Nick.
I know they are, but dang, this thing
just
looks
like Apple One.
It feels. So
I know. I was about to say, just like Drew's
Apple
video, like they're
One.
baiting you. They're baiting you.
Did any of you get a trial?
Nope.
I didn't either, because I think I've used every service that's out, and they said you won't get another free trial on any service you've already used. So I think if I did the trial, nothing would happen.
I really can't wait for the next episode of the morning show to come out. It's going to be so much fun.
I can't wait to not use any of those. Now that's in the settings. Ooh, arcade 3 months. This 3 months.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
Don't care. Swipe left, swipe left. Don't care, don't want.
They're still baiting me with arcade for 3 months in settings every day, right at the top.
Yo, did you guys get there's a new iOS 14, please update every single time you unlock your phone.
Yes, that is the most annoying bug ever.
I almost jumped off my roof. For real this time.
Again?
My phone doesn't
wings,
do that. My iPad does.
So I'm trying to find the screenshot, but I was in Maps one day, and they were pitching me some random service in Maps.
Uh-oh.
I forget what it was, but I was just like,
Try
really,
Google
Apple?
Maps.
No, it was like...
See, antitrust committee? We're friendly.
Anyway, I'm not seeing the screenshot here. Oh, I found it. It was so in Apple Maps, it said follow ride the long way up motorcycle trek. Found on Apple TV.
Oh,
Plus.
the TV show.
Yeah, I know, but they're pitching Apple TV Plus in the Maps app.
Within Maps.
Send that
like,
in the group chat.
That's
Let me
funny.
see it.
Yeah,
I do recommend that show, though. That's the one TV Plus show.
I haven't seen it yet, so maybe I'll have to. Mandalorian's out though, so that's.
They have all
entertainment
three
time.
shows that Ewan McGregor and Charlie have done 3 separate long way shows, and they're all
Hello
really
there.
good. Hello there.
Hello there.
I wouldn't pay $5 a month for it, but it's I'll enjoy my free TV Plus until February. with
Yeah.
long
Hey,
way up.
so
That's
how does that whole
mostly
thing
what I'm
work?
watching.
I've seen a lot of people say that they got like an email. I haven't seen an email come through from Apple about free TV Plus.
It
Check
appears-
your
And today's the day for me to cancel it if I need to do
check
that.
your subscription in settings. Go to iCloud, I think.
When did you
Yeah,
redeem TV Plus originally? Was it on day
minutes
one?
it came out? Minutes after it
Then
came
yeah,
out.
you should. It should be pushed till February for you then.
Okay, click on your
Apple
profile
ID subscriptions.
subscriptions. It'll
Okay.
be right there. I'll
Oh,
tell
next
you when
bill date February 1st. Okay, perfect.
So
All
it
right.
did update.
Oh, I just got a pop-up alert. Get Apple One. Enjoy
too.
millions
Yeah.
of songs, over hundreds of games, Apple original shows, TV, movies, and more. No,
Nah.
I'm
Nah.
good. I'm good.
But Nick, you could finally get 4 terabytes.
You know, okay, so I saw people talking about that like it was, sliced bread or something. Like, oh, look, 4 terabytes.
You
Look,
actually
give me
end
that.
up paying more dollar per gig than just if you would have paid two for the 2 terabyte, because it's like $10 for 2 terabytes or $40 for 4 terabytes.
Exactly.
Ew.
It's like, wow. Money much?
Why not just make a
Money
second
much?
Apple ID and add it to your family and have that second Apple ID buy a 2 terabyte iCloud
I
subscription?
don't think
Then
it works
would
like
be-
that.
You would have to transfer.
I don't know. I'm a digital
photos.
minimalist.
So, yeah.
It'd be
did
way
I,
too
did
much
I tell
work.
you guys I nuked 800 gigs worth of stuff off my iCloud?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. So I have zero need whatsoever for this 4 terabyte plan because I might never make it to 200 gigs,
I would
but I
argue
ain't
no
ever
one
going
needs
over
4
2
terabytes. And if anyone says they do need 4, it's because they haven't gone through their library.
That's
That's what I'm
because
gonna
they
argue.
have a mental issue, right, Randy? I'm sure you, as the Joker, know all about that and how to relate.
We all know there's plenty wrong with me, bats. Yeah.
I know that there's people out there that were like,
No,
yes,
what the heck,
I'm
I'll
getting
laugh
4
anyway."
terabytes.
There were?
I saw several people
Oh.
saying, yeah, I'm getting the Apple One for the 4 terabyte thing. And they they have a bunch of duplicates or they download a bunch of stuff that they don't need to back up. And it's like,
You know, you want to
Eventually,
know
as
what
time
really
goes
saved
on-
our butts about that, though, in general? The moment Apple released that new, what was it, the new codecs that actually compressed a lot of the files,
Yeah,
that
HIEC or
saved, that saved me. Yeah. I would have been in the 2 terabyte realm now had that never came out. And I like that it gets compressed. And you only pull it down when you need it, and then it knows when it's not being used, and it puts it back in the cloud, and it frees up the space. I
if
appreciate
only Apple Files
all
would
that.
work like that.
yeah, really.
If only.
It's just like,
That
no,
would be
you downloaded it
appreciated.
8 months ago. You need to have a local copy. Can I delete the local copy and just put it on the cloud? No, you must have the
No.
local copy.
That's true.
Yeah.
Apple needs to. Yeah, that's.
That was my number one feature request for iOS 14. Just fix the Files app, please. Allow
Fix
me
it.
to control what I have offline. Anyway,
There's not
I
enough
fixed
people
lots
using
of that,
it.
though, so it's good.
When no one uses it, then Apple doesn't work on it very closely. That's probably the issue. There's not enough people using File. So
That's
they're like,
unfortunate.
it's not a big problem. No one's bringing it up, so who cares?
Means
Not
doesn't
my
exist,
monkey,
right?
not my circus.
Yeah. Would you guys
Whatever that
use Apple's search engine?
Ooh, I would not. I love DuckDuckGo too much, and Apple's search engine would have
Oh,
to do like 8
okay.
different things that DuckDuckGo does for me.
They will buy DuckDuckGo.
If they buy DuckDuckGo, I'd be all over it because one of my favorite features of DuckDuckGo is the exclamation point character, and you can just dive directly into a web page. So say I'm like want to watch funny cat videos, in the Safari search bar, and in Safari just type in funny cat, and then exclamation point YT, and then when you hit go, it goes directly to YouTube. It doesn't go to DuckDuckGo. It goes directly to whatever. And so if you want to look up a Wikipedia article, you can do exclamation point W, go directly to a Wikipedia page. Or if you want to default back to Google, do exclamation point G or exclamation point GI for Google Images or exclamation
Google
point
doesn't do anything
Y.
like that?
No, I have not.
Huh.
Google doesn't do that.
That's interesting.
And
I
it's
didn't
this-
know that.
It's this really nice way to just be able to, because like when I'm searching for something, 9 times out of 10 I know kind of what I'm looking for. Like It's like, okay, if I want just one of the quick summary facts, DuckDuckGo has those quick summary facts that Google has. You know, how tall is the Empire State Building? Tells you. Sometimes I know I want to look up a YouTube video in Safari, and just YT takes you right to Safari, YouTube. If I'm looking for like Wikipedia, it's just so convenient, and I love that about. And also dark mode. Come on, why has no other major browser gotten on dark mode? It's been out for like 2 years. DuckDuckGo is still the only one that respects dark mode.
Respects.
You're making me want to switch.
I know.
should switch it over now.
I've been using DuckDuckGo for maybe 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm
Brandon's
the only
the
one
who got
using
me on
Google.
That's my default.
Wow.
Yeah, that's my default.
Huh.
My
mess
wife been
around
using
with
it even
this
longer than that. She's been using it since maybe maybe since
and
she's
you
got
can turn
iPhone.
off the ads. DuckDuckGo says, hey, if you want to turn on ads, that's great, we'll make money, and if not, you don't need to. And there's a little toggle in the desktop settings to turn off ads. And there's just no
Yeah.
ads. It's very nice.
It's been my default. I've been pretty adamant. I always thought that Apple was going to buy them, and it never happened. And I was like, all right, I guess they won't then. But
I'm not sure if it's a good look during the antitrust investigation.
Yeah.
to buy out
DuckDuckGo,
more
in my
smaller
opinion,
companies.
is one of the better behaved search engines because they don't track when it comes to advertisements and stuff like that, which is why they give you control about turning on or off any of those features. They are the most important thing is that they're 100% transparent with you in regards to how it's all kind of being filtered, and gives you upfront choices to say you want to keep it this way or do you want to turn it off. They have that open line of communication with its users, which in my opinion, I feel is the most important aspect when it comes to a relationship where something's free. When nothing's free, where it isn't, and having that type of transparency in communicating what is going where. They have their proprietary coding that lets them pull from Google without it ever getting back to you when it comes to certain searches, and it's their filter. Since then, many other niche browsers got on board about doing that. Some of which Apple themselves stole for Safari, which I'm all about. There's a search engine called Brave, and Brave is like a overall kill switch that turns off every type of cookie tracking. If you use Brave, it gives you a report of how many things got blocked, filtered, any type of targeted marketing ads. It gives you a full itemized list. What site did you go to that linked Macy's.com to try to leave a cookie on your browser? And it breaks it all down. Apple incorporated many elements of that when they have their little shield thing that came up.
Yeah.
That is a function that came from Brave. And Brave got that idea from DuckDuckGo. Even though DuckDuckGo doesn't give you an itemized list, it uses it. They're all really being privacy focused when it comes to stuff like that. Where it's like our purpose is to get money through different means, not just by soliciting ads right in front of your eyes as such. So just knowing their principles about unwanted tracking, I've been using DuckDuckGo as my personal
I
search
switched
engine for
everything
years.
over. Just
Bravo.
now.
Have fun.
Bravo,
Now,
Drew.
you're going to be very tempted to go to google.com at some points and be like, it's going to come out quicker or something. But my challenge to you, Drew,
Not really.
give it a good week to a month and just try what you would normally do for Google search. Just try it in DuckDuckGo without doing a side-by-side comparison. Just try it and see.
I actually used them when they first came out. If people remember, way back when DuckDuckGo was like a new thing. That's when I first switched to it, and there was a lot of missing.
2010?
There was a lot of missing things that I had to go back to Google for, because it mainly what I mainly used Google search for was pulling up images for videos or looking stuff up.
And DuckDuckGo isn't quite better at that. It doesn't let you natively copy stuff.
It looks
out
a lot
like
better
YouTube.
now.
Google. Well, I always have to default back to Google Images. But the great thing with DuckDuckGo is you're only an exclamation point and a character away from Google Images.
That's interesting, Nick. I've never had that issue.
Well,
I've
when
always
you right
found
mouse, I like to like right mouse click and copy on the image results.
It works for me.
Okay, it doesn't work on my iPad.
Well,
that's
that's
most of the time where I'm pulling stuff.
it
from.
wasn't really a thing when I first started using it, which made me go back to Google, and then I just forgot about it since then. But
Yeah.
now, just using it again, it looks much more similar to how Google does it.
And the results are about the same. I mean,
That's the thing. All search engines do very, very similar things. So, but that's why most people don't change the default. That's why Google pays so much to be the default search engine, because they know people aren't going to take the effort to go into settings and change it because no one would notice or no one would care enough. So,
it's okay.
but
Google's
it sounds
not
like
paying
the
me,
government
so I'll
doesn't
tell
like...
y'all to do it.
technically, Randy.
Well, they are paying you. They're paying all of us now.
Darn!
Dang it!
Randy,
We're
where are
not
you going to
guilty.
go spend your $33.08?
No, I'm excited to go back because it looks. I like the dark mode look of it and everything.
Yeah.
It's just
I'm
fun.
gonna leave
it's
it
fun
on.
to play around. Yeah, give it a go.
Cool.
I actually completely forgot that I was using DuckDuckGo because most things that I use, I already have it as a bookmark tab anyway, which is just YouTube. But those occasions where I'm like, how many letters are in the alphabet? You know,
Yeah.
26. 8? 28? Shoot.
Nick, go back to school.
It's 26.
Dang it.
Let's play. Who has the master's degree?
Yeah, yeah.
More accurately, who knows how to use said degree? Not me.
Wrong. No one.
No one here knows how to.
Yeah. You
Well,
only
if
a
Apple had
master of
features
evil,
like
dog.
that, or if Apple bought DuckDuckGo, they probably wouldn't keep calling it DuckDuckGo.
I mean, they kept calling Siri.
That's true.
Yeah, but
And
I could
Siri's
see-
very heavily integrated in the search engines now, which I kind of feel like they're right there. They have so much of stuff that's being pulled from internet searches when you're talking to Siri. If they did, they would probably like Siri search or something like that. I would believe they would integrate everything within Siri, and it's just Siri is your search engine, your web browser, everything like that.
Yeah,
but if
they'd
they
probably do it.
if they didn't do that, I mean, I could see them keeping DuckDuckGo the same way they kept Siri for Siri. I'm going to contradict myself. The only reason why it worked for Siri is because nobody knew what Siri was back when it was
True,
its
it
own
wasn't
company.
well established.
Whereas DuckDuckGo is well established, but allow me to contradict my contradiction. Because it's well established and there's that branding right there, I would still want to know that, oh, DuckDuckGo, I feel safe with DuckDuckGo. Therefore, it's cross-platform still, and you still have that trust with it. Just like Instagram, people forgot Instagram was owned by Facebook for a hot minute until like, oh God, Facebook? Oh, but I would rather keep the name of something that's trusted for cross-platforms instead of being like, well, it's just another Apple marketing with its cluck privacy.
But could Apple be the type to pull a dark sky and make DuckDuckGo an Apple exclusive type thing?
A Safari
I feel like
exclusive, not
people
even just
don't
Apple
use Dark
exclusive.
Sky. Yeah, people don't use Dark Sky the same where that was a paid application for a specific thing to where search is like a universal, and that's your doorway into the internet when you're looking for something as a search engine without you having a direct path, a URL. People will use the search engines, and I kind of feel like it's never going to be a good look to make that restricting and be like, no, you can only use this one with us.
Wouldn't be a good look, but Apple doesn't seem to mind that a lot of the time. So
they're smart enough to know not to do that because no one would use those features in general. I don't think it's a good. Not only it kind of contradicts their security presence about like privacy with the FBI and San Bernardino, this whole thing that locked, like we're not doing it, and that's when they.
If you talk about to contradict or contradiction, you talk about incorporating it in Siri, and Siri becomes everything, and they don't really bring Siri outside of Apple hardware.
Which is why I don't think they would. If it became a search engine, I don't think it would be called Siri. If they did, it would be strictly just naming, but you wouldn't get the full Siri experience the same way we don't get the full Google experience without being on Android.
That's true.
Be interesting to see how they handle it.
If only Apple was.
I don't know how they
minded
do
and
it.
let the
I'm
Google
good in this
Assistant be the
hypothetical
default.
environment in my head. I'm like, I'm so good at this thing that doesn't exist yet.
Good job, Randy.
Yeah, high five.
What were you gonna say, Nick?
I have no idea. Randy just.
I really
know.
like that lighting behind your head that
Thank
people
you.
can't see. Someone watched credits, Shufu. I can tell where you're getting this from.
Credit Shufu is hardly the person I got that from. I know how to do hair lights.
He invented lighting.
Yes,
I think that
I
came-
He has the
I
same
invented lighting
background and
first.
light heading as you.
Yeah, but I do it a lot more cleanly. His is a little bit too obvious. Mine's nice and subtle. I'd say nine out
guys
of 10
have all
people
these-
didn't notice.
And
my hair
humble.
light.
You're so humble, Nick.
I
My
am.
Goodness.
Thank you. I work really hard to be this humble. Oh,
Quite
my
frankly,
goodness.
people, I'm so humble. Okay.
Wow,
Too good at that.
Randy,
Yeah. I love you too.
can you run
It's
for
okay.
president, please?
Next.
Randy's
next,
too honest to run for president.
That is very true. I'm so honest. It's so transparent. It's dangerous. Okay. Next election. Wait, would I be in range? No, I have to be 35. Sorry.
Yeah, 35.
I have to wait 2 elections.
You must be pretty close.
I hate you. Well, you should have ran
Wow.
5 years ago.
Yeah, you can only be 35. If you're over 35,
Only
they'll let you.
Only
You can only be 35. My
For a
fellow
4-year term, you have
Americans,
to be only 35.
ask
Yep.
not. It would be interesting to see the youngest president, because right now JFK, I think, is the youngest at 42 or 40, something like that. My fellow Americans, ask not. Yeah, I want to see. What if we had somebody who was 35, a legit millennial? That's weird. Ooh.
Ask not what Apple can do for you. Rather, what can you do for Apple?
Oh, Mr. President, don't you mean the other way? No, I know what I said. Yeah, I'll run for president, but I won't get far. Bet money I can get further than Kanye.
No, I don't think so, actually. I think he'll get farther
Let's see. I can't believe he's running.
than just
Wow.
Randy.
Wow, this spiraled.
You know, I've been using Spotify for the past few weeks.
Woo! Is that paid or free?
I got it the same way Randy got it, from a friend who added me to his premium family plan.
Yep.
My brother-in-law got it, and he
Okay,
was just like,
so
hey,
where do you find said friends? Asking for a friend.
it's my sister's husband, so
I would say that's less of a friend and more of a family member.
okay, family member then. Ask
All
them
right.
for it.
Is that where we're
But I
splitting
didn't
hairs,
know-
Nick?
I guess so. I had no idea all these streaming services had such different layouts. I thought they all kind of did basically the same thing, but it's really different,
Yeah.
to be honest, from Apple Music and from YouTube Music. And I think I still prefer the layout of Apple Music, but it could just be because I'm used to that for the past 5 years. But Spotify doesn't really have, like, it has a library, but it's so different from Apple Music because it's like
right there. I've been using it too,
yeah.
Drew. I'm like,
it's like you make playlists, but there isn't, like, on Apple Music you find an album or a song and you just hit add, and
Yeah.
then there's a section of the app called library with all of your stuff, whereas the library on Spotify is like all your albums, all your playlists, and artists. It's just they have their own kind of, I like the Apple Watch app, like they have their own little design language that I didn't know about until I started using it, and this is a bit of a learning curve at first because I'm not used to putting everything in a playlist, but that seems to be how I'm using it. You have to use it. And seeing how, like, music slightly fades out and slightly fades in when you pause and play,
yeah.
I noticed that little detail, and I was like,
Yep.
huh, I think I kind of like that. And just the font they use throughout their UI and how they keep things really minimal.
And their
some of
own
the music
continuity
actually-
between desktop, phone, and
I haven't tried the desktop app, but
I love
Watch
the
app is-
desktop
I used
app.
to use their desktop app quite a bit.
It is
the
amazing.
Watch app even has a different, like, volume animation than
Yep.
the typical watchOS interface, and it changes color as you get higher, and there's little
Yep.
needle. Like everything is just very intelligently and intentionally designed. That I didn't know about this because before I just thought, oh, that's Spotify. But
So do
now
you
I'm
listen
using it.
to our shows on these on this Spotify app? I mean,
I didn't listen to our shows ever, so
okay.
that's
Well, I mean, that's fair. I see why.
And dare I say, it has gotten better on Tesla.
Oh, okay, good.
They actually
Okay.
put my playlists, because I agree with you, Drew, in the sense that I'm using it as playlists. Because in my opinion, out of YouTube, Apple, and Spotify, Spotify has the best curated playlists for the stuff that I'm looking
I've
for.
heard people say that.
It's kind of scary how accurate it's playing the vibe that I want it to feel without me having to train the algorithm. It just like based off of other people's inputs, we think you're gonna like, and I listen to it, and it is exactly what I wanted to hear, and I'm like, I love this, and
Maybe
now
you're just too
I-
basic.
It's kind of like YouTube recommended.
well, if I'm that basic, Nick, I don't want to be advanced or complex. I'm sorry, I like what I like, but I do also like that it does feed in. I don't know if it's because I'm connected to. I don't know what changed, but my recommended playlist on the Tesla's UI, it's fine now. So I'll play it right there. And I've only been doing that because I can't get the 12 Pro, even though it's my key to the car, I can't get the Bluetooth to work. So whenever I go driving, I bring both my phones and just use the
Not very minimal of you.
not very not keeping the phone, Nick. God, Nick. But I only bring the phone
On that
to
note,
yeah. It's good.
I like Spotify. It's cool.
You
I like
are
having
gonna-
music and podcasts in one place.
I will selfishly say I'm keeping Spotify around because one, I'm not paying for it. So thank you to my
If
friend.
my brother-in-law gets rid of it, I won't keep it. I'll say that on the record. I'm not willing to pay for Spotify. But
So
if someone
I just
offers
found
it
out
for
the only
free-
reason why my friend put me on his thing is because he's not paying for it either. His dad is. So
and his dad's not paying for it.
oh, his
This
dad's got.
person,
He's,
he's using. There's
no,
one person
his dad.
at the
His
top.
dad is like
There's
my
just
like
one
my mother.
Spotify premium user in the entire world. Everyone's
It's like
just
Netflix.
bumming up.
One person pays for Netflix, and everybody just shares the account.
That's
pretty
it. I
sure.
mean, that's the same thing with my mother-in-law. She pays for the Netflix. We're not gonna pay for.
And
Any
now
of
she's
that
going to
stuff.
pay more because they just increased the prices.
They did again. What's the base
Mm-hmm.
now?
Well,
T-Mobile's keeping their
base,
price the same.
480p streaming option didn't change. It's $9, but the 1080p streaming option's $14, and if you want 4K, it's $18. So
Unless you have the Magenta plan or whatever with T-Mobile, they're keeping it still free.
So yeah, if you
Yeah.
someone else is paying for it, it doesn't change. But if you're going straight through Netflix, yeah, they keep raising their prices. I'll
is
admit,
a-
I think it's still worth it.
Slightly.
I'm not paying for it, but
It is. That's why it's still worth it.
I just mean I've used a lot of streaming services over the years. I'm not paying for many right now because we're cutting everything out, and I don't even have Netflix anymore. My dad's account, he even canceled it, so we don't have Netflix of any kind now. And I still would say, out of all the streaming services I've used between Prime Video and TV Plus and Disney Plus and Vudu and Hulu and
Apple.
Netflix, in my opinion, has the best catalog.
Don't forget about Apple.
I think they've got the most content to choose from. That's the most.
Took them over.
interesting.
It took them a decade to build it of their originals and stuff like that. I feel
they've got
that
Disney ripped
a
the
lot of
heart and
history.
soul out of Netflix.
Netflix is the one I'd probably keep around. I was doing.
If I had to
was
choose one,
doing- in this
not
hypothetical, you're
agree
going to
with
pay
that.
for it, but you're not paying for it. You're not going to pay for it.
no. But if I had to choose one streaming service and I couldn't have any others, I would choose Netflix, including the price. Like I think it because
So
of that
here's
catalog.
what we need to do here. What we need to do is, Drew, you need to get Netflix. I need to get Disney
No.
Plus, and Randy needs to get Hulu. And then we all just bum
need
off
Hulu.
each other.
What we need is a fan out there paying for Netflix. to
Hey,
send
you know
us
what? Even
his
better.
account
Like,
information.
comment, and subscribe, and hit that super chat button down below.
Who wants to be our friend?
Yes, you have to pay for our friendship.
My friendship is for sale for the low price of $9.99.
Don't get it wrong, people. I can be bought.
I can absolutely be bought. Yes, right.
Do you think Netflix as a or let me say it like this. I agree with you, Drew, that like out of all, like that's the one that is most worth it in the sense that bang for buck, and that's your one stop all. Like if I had to forego any other shows, including Mandalorian and everything else, I would rather still use Netflix. Do you?
They got Tiger King. They've got To Make a Murderer. They've got
Tiger
Stranger
King,
Things.
man.
They've got
Carol
They've got
Baskin.
so much. They've got so much iconic stuff there that
They got Tiger King.
I'm already sad of how I'm gonna have to ask someone to watch the next Stranger Things. I'm gonna have to go to someone else's house.
Can I come over? Oh yeah.
Can I come over? I want to watch it.
Do a 7-day trial or whatever on an account and just watch
That's
it.
true. I've already done that a few times, but I've got maybe some other
Gmails are
emails
free to make.
Yeah. Anytime there's a new show, maybe we'll do the trial. Whatever.
That's what I'm about to do with Westworld, so I can finish the other season, and then I think I'll let go of HBO as a whole. I stopped watching HBO after Game of Thrones, but Westworld is a very good show.
I never had HBO. I'm not in that realm, but that's
But-
just me.
But it's so good. I was gonna say something about Netflix, and you threw me off. I don't remember now. Something about the pricing. It's gone. Hang on. Pricing. Lost it.
It's
Don't worry about it.
expensive,
While you're
but they've
thinking of
got
that,
good
I
value.
have a dilemma now because Verizon is going to be done paying for my Disney Plus in just a couple weeks on the 11th of November, and it's likely I could also get it through December through American Express if I wanted to. But after December, I am gonna probably have to cancel Disney Plus, and the new season of Mando just started, and
Mando.
I watched the first episode of Mando, and let me tell you, it was good. Not wonderful or amazing, but it was good. And it was like, this is
I
the
liked
Star
it.
Wars content I came for. Thank you.
I liked it.
I liked it too.
Here's
you
what you gotta
Skylar
do.
Johnson or whatever.
Skylar, yes. My name is Skylar. Hi.
Okay, Chad. What you've
Chad.
got to do is return the 12 Pro, save yourself $200, and use the savings on a 1-year renewal of Disney Plus.
Okay, but then I'll change
the
the
low
passwords
price.
just to spite you.
That's fine. I am watching it at my sister's place anyway, so
Oh, okay. I guess I'm not even. I'm not even
I don't
important
need
here.
it.
I thought I was.
I'm
just
just
Don't,
telling
gonna
no,
be a
no,
little
no, Nick,
important
Nick, don't worry. Me, we're still using it. We're still using it. Don't worry, buddy. We're still very much because Jeff Goldblum and everything. That's
in time, Apple TV Plus is going to increase in price, and I'm just going to laugh and laugh.
I'm gonna laugh it straight to the bank.
There will be enough. They're going to keep pushing free trials down my throat every time I buy a new Apple product. I'll probably get to watch on occasion. I'll get probably at least 3 months of free something a year.
God,
I've
this is
already
gonna
gone
be
through my arcade trial, and now they're already offering me 3 times as much as the last free trial, which I went through.
This is gonna be worse than
But
people telling
Fitness
you.
Plus
Don't forget to
is
vote.
going to be a
Shove
game
that down
changer.
your throat.
I can't wait for Fitness Plus though. All the pounds that I'm gonna lose, Fitness Plus is just
know.
gonna be awesome. You know.
I'm surprised they're
wait.
launching Apple One without Fitness Plus.
I
Feels kinda weird.
know, man.
Like, we'll just start charging you for it, but it's not out yet. But that's okay.
Isn't that
Thank
weird?
you for the donation.
Huh?
That is true. Wonder why would they wouldn't prorate that? That's interesting.
Huh?
Because they're hoping the whole business model of memberships is hoping you forget you have it.
Especially
That's
gym
it.
memberships.
Yeah. No, your Fitness Plus is not trying to make you more in shape. It's trying to sell you on you want to be more in shape, don't you? So
Don't
you're
you
going
want
to
to
put
look at
money
these
down.
extremely
Yeah, you
fit
want
people?
it, don't you? You big fatty, don't you?
See, do you care about your health?
Randy.
Then you should pay for Fitness Plus. If you care about your body.
And you
And,
know that all of the Series 7 Apple Watch ads are going to be, Tim, thank you so much for creating Fitness Plus. It has saved my
Fitness
life
Plus
8
changed
times.
my life 8 times.
If
Pretty
I
much.
could have a fitness with Tim Cook as the leader and it, good morning, here we go.
Let's do some
Okay, I
jumping
would watch that.
jacks.
I
Good
would watch that.
morning.
Yeah,
Craig
I would do that.
and
If we got
Kevin
like
and
Eddie
Tim.
Q
for,
and
for
Craig
yoga, it has to be
if they brought
Johnny
Johnny
Ive.
Ive back out of retirement.
Johnny I for yoga. Right. Now,
Oh,
let's practice
do that.
doing the
Beautiful.
A.
I would much rather have that than these random fitness people.
I'm telling you,
Why
right,
would we do
Yeah,
that?
if we could
you
just
give
get
me,
members
give me
of-
Tim Cook for like cardio. Like, all right, let's do it. And then for Johnny
I would-
Ive is like, you're in a perfect environment.
I would pay for TV Plus if they did a sitcom starring the chairman of Apple, just
Yes.
like doing stuff around the office, being funny.
That's the Office Nick knockoff.
I would pay for that.
They do that thing where they smash you.
Yeah, all the zoom in. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Starring Tim Cook, Craig Federighi. Yeah, all the freeze frames. Yeah, I would pay for that.
That would be pretty good.
You hear that, Apple? Money
Yep.
to be made right here,
I would-
now. That would
I
be
would
the
pay for
best
that.
performing show. That would be an
Put
Emmy
that on
award-winning.
Apple
Honestly,
TV Plus, I'd watch it.
at
That
least
would win
from
all
my
the awards.
perspective, as like someone super deep in the tech community, that is much more enjoyable than like the Greyhound or the Morning Show or
Oh,
any
yeah.
of these A-list celebrities. It's like, excuse
100
me, you
times
think
more
I
interesting.
care about Tom Hanks? No, Tim Cook, please.
I'm telling you, I
More
said
Tim.
this a year or two ago. I said this a long time. In fact, I think I even made a video about it. I would love to see an Apple original where it's a behind the scenes like documentary
Yes.
leading up to whatever. So this year we had iPhone 12 that came out. So now,
Yeah, I
for,
remember
like, the
talking
fall,
about that.
Yeah,
I would like to see like
definitely.
show me the evolution, or that was being documented over the last 2-3 years about like when we wanted to design the frame and just do their little thing, right?
We
It's just
wanted
an
to make
iPhone
it
ad that's like
almost
8
gold.
hours long.
and you have to pay for it.
Yeah. Apple
But
can
I would
literally
like to see.
sell
I would be
advertisements.
very interested in seeing like the actual architectural construction of Apple Park, or
Yes,
alike. Like show me
yes.
stuff like that. I'll watch it.
Disney has that
HGTV.
down. On Disney
Yes,
Plus, they have whole
Imagineers.
shows about Disney weddings and Disney resort. Like it's a service you're paying for to see commercials for that service.
Yep.
See, Disney's got that down.
That's
It's
like
like
16
Apple.
services.
Yeah.
It's like an infinite loop of power.
Yeah, I would say I would be more interested. I would actually pay, even if it's just for the month or so. I would watch those type of documentaries. And when it comes to just behind the scenes, reveal the if it's because you don't want to give away information that maybe might help the next year, but then show me something about how you came up with the 10R, or something that is a few years old that dated, so we can actually go talk about the same way we see things on YouTube now about the behind the scenes of the first iPhone and how everyone was freaking out because the demo was going to crash at any and there's all you can make a legit. There are documentaries about it now, and I watch it to this day. Do something like that now with more modern Apple products or the campus, or what leading up to certain decisions being made, what even some of its failures, dare I say, air power. But I know they would
That's
never
the
talk
thing.
about it.
I imagine the reason they don't do that is because there's probably a lot of internal discussions that they don't want people knowing about. Like, well, we could put in 128 gig, but we'll make more money if we put it at 64. So let's leave it at 64. They don't want that to be.
Well,
covered. So
Tim, it's
it would be
actually
a very,
cheaper because 64 gig chips are so outdated that it's actually cheaper to put in 256. Wouldn't it be better just to give everyone 256? And Tim's like, no.
No, we would
No,
we
no,
would
no.
lose too much money on iCloud if we did that. So
1,000
they
no
would-
for
they
every
would-
yes.
it'd be a very biased, one-sided painting of the making of. But I don't care. I'll watch it.
Johnny Ive said around the time I think the Apple Watch, the first one came out, and he was doing like conferences and stuff like that. And there's one he was talking about. Is like, when Steve came up to me and he would say, "What did you say no to today?" He knew I was not interested in this, because Steve would always focus on him and be like, all right, what did you say no? And if he would know if Johnny was saying no to something that he really wasn't all that interested anyway. He's like, that's your problem, Johnny. You're not willing to sacrifice certain things. And just like he would talk talked about how Johnny was like, oh, Steve, maybe you're being a little too harsh. And then he's just like, Johnny, I didn't think you'd be so vain. What? Because he goes, your problem is you want everybody to like you, and you're putting people wanting to like you over the product. And all these stories that like Johnny would talk about with very specific interactions with Steve and product design and stuff like that. The only thing that would have made those presentations better when he was doing these conferences is if we had like the B-roll showing schematics the way like our shirts would have them and stuff like that, and kind of going over into it and then talking about what didn't make the cut and why, because I think to this day they still practice the 1,000 no's to every yes. And okay, the 120 hertz, why was that a no? Where in the process did that not make the cut and why? We speculate 5G if they had to choose one or the other, but then again, Qualcomm, because Qualcomm has say over that. Apple had no control over that. That was a Qualcomm
5G
thing.
was a given. That was not.
So what caused them to say no? And besides timelines, there's more in there. And as fanatics and people who are fans and people who aspire to have that same simplicity in their own environments, like people want to just understand the thought process as to why. Don't just show me the final product. Let's peek behind the curtain and just talk about it. If you're going to do conferences about it, finish it up with some B-roll then that you would have had at some point. I know you got hidden security cameras everywhere. Show us blueprints and schematics at the same time. Talk about that stuff, because it's very fascinating. I would pay for Apple TV Plus with that. Yeah.
And
so to answer your question,
that's why you'll never pay for TV Plus.
Yeah. So to answer your question, Drew, at the very start of this all, that's how my week is going. Thank you for asking. How are you doing? Because I never got to answer it, Nick.
Sorry, Randy. I'm so sorry that you live such a boring life as I travel across the country looking for the one tower to line up my phone.
I just wanted to borrow 90 minutes of your time to say I'm doing well. How are you doing, Drew?
Good.
Well,
thanks for watching and listening.
I'm pretty sure the term borrowing implies that we'll get it back. And I'm never going to be given that back.
Not coming back. All right. See you next week, everybody.
Bye.
And
Bye.
It'll be after pre-orders. Take care.
Will be.
Ba-ba-ba.